If I can come to you a little bit on costs, actually, and just numbers. So last couple of years, you've seen a decline in expenses, particularly on the payment processing charges side as a percentage of GMV, and also in terms of marketing and promotional expenses. Can you talk us through both those elements? On the processing charges, is there more of a runway down, or you're now pretty much at a steady state? And on marketing and expenses, that's going to be volatile, right? As you grow some of these businesses as merchant, etc. It's tough to commit that you will keep a lid on marketing and promotional expenses in a hyper-competitive market like this.
Yeah, I think payment processing charges will continue to come down, or at least we have seen that trend. I don't think I should necessarily talk about next quarter or the quarter after, but we've seen that trend quarter on quarter, right? Even the numbers that we put out for June last in the RHP that yesterday will show that it has declined compared to FY21, right? So there is continuous room to improve that. With respect to marketing and promotion costs, yes, it is sort of dependent on what we want to do. But what I can tell you is that our decrease of 85% over the last 2 years, we used to be sort of 3,000 type of crore numbers. And now last year we did about 500 crores. That 85% decrease is because of just being a lot more efficient, right? In terms of how we acquire customers, making sure we acquire the right customers who we can retain without having to give them cash back on every transaction, be more efficient with our brand marketing and so on, right? So yeah, it has gone down quite a lot. I don't, quarter on quarter, that number might change, but and as we grow our business, maybe that absolute number could grow as well. But we feel quite good about the levels at which it is at in terms of percentage of revenue or percentage of GMV and so on.
Okay. There was a note in the DRHP at least, and I was sort of curious as to know why, that the company has moved away from 4 reportable segments, and you now work on a single segment. You're saying you don't allocate operating costs and expenses, assets and liabilities across business units. Can you explain to me why?
Well, that's just a function of how Vijay described the model, right? That customers and merchants come in through payments, and that sort of builds the habit. Even if it generates a huge amount of GMV, generates a lot of revenue, generates contribution profit. But then those same customers and merchants with very little incremental CAC start using commerce, cloud, financial services. So we think it would be quite sort of almost arbitrary to say that financial services business or segment got a customer at 0 cost, or they got it at 100 rupee cost, or they got it at 1,000 rupee cost, right? So how do you allocate these costs? Because bulk of the customer acquisition and that habit building is happening actually in the payments side, right? So should we assume that those financial services customers just have access to those, financial services segment has access to those customers at 0 cost or at some cost, or and be quite arbitrary that way, right? So we run a single P&L within the company, right? So we say, okay, there's a cohort of customers coming. Some of them, all of them will want to do payments, let's say. Some of them may want to do commerce. Some of them may want insurance products. Some of them may want a lending product. Some of them may want a wealth product. And we should do the right thing by that customer. And we should do the right thing by that merchant, regardless of which product is making more money or which product is sitting in a certain segment or the other, right? So we think as a company, just given the model that we have, a single segment works better. We have shown revenue breakup within payments.
But not expenses.
Yeah, payments to consumers, payments to merchants, commerce, cloud, and so on. So we have shown revenue breakup because we thought that would be important, and that is easy to, there's no arbitrary sort of assumptions within that, right? There's just revenues from those segments.